Starting this flow on our hands and knees with the fingertips facing one another and the hands as wide as the mat. We're going to just do a few spinal mobility exercises here. So looking up and then rounding down into the cat pose. Looking up for the camel pose. And again, coming to the cat pose. Do this one more time. And then we'll prepare for our first apnea exercise. So you'll inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to move the right arm, left leg forward, and then we'll come into apnea here. So that will be after a full exhale, coming into apnea, holding for 6 seconds. And then we'll inhale and exhale, advance the other arm and leg forward and come straight back into apnea here. Holding for 6 seconds. And then we're just going to come back to the child's pose stretch after this. Just give yourself a nice long stretch here. Breathing through the rib cage, feeling the breath come to the middle of the back. Expanding the ribs in all directions. Practice nice slow breathing here. So 4-second inhale through the nose and an 8-second exhale through the mouth. And this will be the breathing pattern throughout the entire flow. So slow inhales and also nice and slow, long exhales. I'll also mention here that if you start to feel lightheaded during any of your low pressure fitness flows, it might be that your breathing is a little too fast. So just focus on nice, slow breathing. Okay, you're going to come back to the hands and knees here and we're going to try a new pose. So here we're going to lift the knees up off the floor. But this will be different than your typical downward dog position. The knees here are still slightly bent and you're trying to keep the axis forward and your arms are still rounded and engaged. So we'll exhale and lower back down. We're going to do this again. We'll inhale and then on the exhale you're going to lift the knees up off the ground, keeping the axis forward. Knees are bent. We'll inhale and we'll exhale, we'll lower back down. And we'll prepare for the vacuum during the next lift. So inhale and exhale and lift the knees up off the ground. Exhale fully here and come into apnea. Holding for a 6-second hold here. And then we'll inhale and exhale and lower back down. Focusing on keeping the axis forward during your lowering down, which I didn't do so well on that one. And then you'll just sit back into another nice long child's pose stretch. Again, focusing on the breath coming into the middle upper back. Breathing through the rib cage. We're going to transition to standing now to start our flow, but I just wanted to quickly show you here the difference between the downward dog position and this low pressure fitness pose that we're doing here. So the biggest difference is that the axis is forward and the knees are slightly bent and the arms are engaged and rounded during this pose. Okay, so we'll start our flow in standing. Our feet are about a hand's width apart, axis slightly forward, arms are low and rounded. We'll inhale the arms at a diagonal. We'll exhale and bring the arms to the chest height position. We'll inhale the opposite diagonal and exhale and bring the arms back to that mid-chest position. On this next inhale, we'll bring both arms up to a high V position. And on the exhale, we'll keep the arms high, but we'll prepare for the vacuum here. So fully release the air and come into apnea, expanding the rib cage, holding for 6 seconds, growing through the crown of the head, keeping the axis forward. Inhale the arms up, and then we'll lower the arms back down to the starting position. We're going to do another standing series here. So we'll inhale the arms at a diagonal. Exhale, bring the arms to chest height. We'll inhale the opposite diagonal. Exhale and bring the arms back down to chest height. We'll inhale both arms up to the high V position. And then we'll come back down to the chest height. We'll prepare for apnea here. So exhale fully, come into apnea, and then raise the arms up overhead during apnea. Keeping the axis forward, growing through the crown of the head. We'll inhale and exhale and bring the arms back down to the starting position. Going to come into the lunge pose here. So we'll inhale and exhale and step forward with the right foot. I have my arms at chest height here, but I wanted to start with them lower. So I inhale and exhale and bring the arms down, leaving the right hand on the right thigh. We'll inhale and exhale one more breath. We'll exhale fully, come into apnea, and then we'll bring the left arm up overhead during apnea, pressing the right hand into the right thigh and growing through the crown of the head. Eyes gaze down to the floor at a diagonal. Then we'll inhale and exhale and bring the left arm back down on the exhale. Then we'll inhale and exhale and we'll step back with the right leg. And then we're going to repeat this on the left leg. So we'll inhale, and then on the exhale, we'll step forward with the left leg into a lunge. All during this, the pelvis should stay neutral, so I would say I need to be a little bit straighter here. I'm going to inhale and exhale, 2 breaths. On the second breath, we'll exhale fully, come into apnea, and then raise the right arm up overhead. The eyes are gazing down to the floor at a diagonal. My hips should be more square here as well, and feet should be parallel to one another. We'll inhale and exhale and bring the right arm back down. We'll inhale, and on the exhale, we'll step back with the left leg. Coming back to the starting position, feet hands width apart, knees slightly bent, axis forward. Gonna inhale, and on the exhale, we'll lower down to a tall kneeling position. On the inhale, we're gonna raise the arms up at a diagonal, extending the neck, looking up. Exhale the arms back down. We'll inhale the opposite diagonal. So left arm up, right arm down, extending the neck. Come back to the lower. This time we're going to raise both arms up and lean the trunk slightly back on the inhale, keeping the back straight. Exhale the arms back down. Come into apnea here, and we'll bring the arms up overhead during apnea. Here the pelvis should be straight, so there I corrected a little bit. The axis is still forward, growing through the crown of the head. On the exhale, we're going to slowly come down to the hands and knees position. Fingertips are facing one another and shoulders are spread wide. We're going to come into the pose we practiced in the beginning. So on the exhale, we're going to lift the hips up off the floor, keeping the axis forward. The knees are slightly bent. We're going to inhale and exhale, and we'll lower back down. We'll repeat this again. So inhale, and then on the exhale, we're going to lift the knees up off the mat, keeping axis forward, knees slightly bent. We'll inhale and we'll exhale and we'll come back down. I'm going to repeat this one more time, and then we'll prepare for the vacuum here. So we'll inhale, we'll exhale, we'll lift up, fully exhale, come into apnea. And we're going to hold this pose during the 6-second apnea. Keeping the elbows slightly bent here as well, keeping axis forward as you slowly lower back down. We'll inhale, we'll exhale, and we'll come down to our elbows. Arms are parallel here. We're going to inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to slide the left leg back. Eyes gaze to belly button. And then here we'll do another inhale, and we'll exhale and fully release the air. And we'll come into apnea on the end of that second exhale. And during apnea, we're going to raise the left leg off the floor. The neck is rounded. The eyes are looking at the belly button. We'll hold this pose for 6 seconds. And on the exhale, we'll lower the left leg back down. We're going to repeat this with the right leg. So we'll inhale, and on the exhale, we'll slide the right leg back. Do another breath in here, breathing into the back, expanding the ribs. We'll exhale, fully release the air, come into apnea, and we'll raise the right leg up off the floor, keeping the hips level. Eyes are gazing to the belly button. We'll inhale, and we'll exhale, lower the right leg back down. And on the next exhale, we're going to come back to the seated position. Moving slowly, it may take you a couple breath cycles to get to the seated position. We're going to do 3 breaths here to get a little bit of a rest. So just focus on growing during each exhale. So inhale, expanding the ribs. Exhale, growing through the crown of the head. The arms are engaged with the elbows slightly bent and the hands pressing into the thighs. Inhale and exhale. At the end of this exhale, we'll come into apnea. So fully release the air. Come into apnea. During apnea, slowly raise the right arm up overhead, pressing the left hand into the thighs, keeping the space between the rib cage and the pelvis and the shoulders and the head as you lower the arm back down on exhale. And we'll come right back into apnea here. So fully release the air, come into apnea, and now bring the left arm up overhead during this apnea. Growing through the crown of the head. We'll inhale and exhale and slowly lower the arm back down on the exhale. We'll do 1 rest breath here. and then we'll come back into apnea. So inhale, expand the ribs. Exhale, fully release the air, come into apnea. And this time during apnea, raise both arms up overhead, holding for 6 seconds. Then we'll inhale and slowly bring the arms back down. And now we're going to transition to the lying down position. So moving on your exhales, slowly move down to lying on your back. And here we're going to cross the left leg over the right knee, placing the right hand into the right thigh and the left hand at chest height. We'll do one more breath here, and then we'll fully release the air, come into apnea, and we'll raise the left arm slowly up overhead during apnea, pressing the right hand into the left thigh, growing through the crown of the head. We'll inhale, exhale, slowly bring the arm back down. We're going to stay here, but this time we're going to straighten the left leg. So extend the knee. We're going to come right back into apnea here. So go ahead and come into apnea and bring the left arm up overhead, pressing the right hand into the left thigh, holding for 6 seconds. We'll exhale and we'll lower everything back down, and we're going to switch legs. So now we're going to cross the right leg over the left knee, and the left hand presses into the right thigh. Right arm is at chest height. We're going to come right back into apnea here. So one breath in, exhale fully, come into apnea, raise the right arm up overhead slowly. And you can go ahead and mentally prepare for the same movement. So this time we're going to exhale, bring the arm back down. We're going to extend the right knee, raising the right heel to the thigh. On that exhale, we'll come right back into apnea, and we'll bring the right arm up overhead, pressing the left hand into the right thigh. Then we'll exhale and we'll lower everything back down. We're going to finish with one more lying down pose, so the arms are up overhead in a high V. The heels are pressed into the mat. We're going to do 2 breath cycles here. So we'll inhale and exhale, expanding the ribs. One more breath. Inhale, exhale fully, prepare for vacuum, release the air, come into apnea, and raise the hips up during apnea. And you'll inhale and exhale, but you'll stay up here, and we'll come right back into apnea, and then we're going to lower down during apnea. We're going to repeat this again. So we'll do 1 rest breath. So inhale and exhale fully, release the air, come into apnea. During apnea, you're going to lift your hips up off the mat. We'll hold this for 6 seconds. And then we'll inhale and exhale fully, coming straight back into apnea. And then we'll lower down slowly during our 6-second apnea. So slowly lower. And on the inhale and exhale, you can bring the arms back down. And that is the end of this flow. You can remain here as long as you'd like, taking in how your body feels. Hopefully you feel calm and relaxed, and like you just had a full body massage as you have mobilized all of your fascia and you've lifted all of your internal abdominal organs. You can feel good that you are starting your day with optimal alignment, an optimal position of your pelvic and abdominal organs, and also that you've strengthened your deep core and pelvic floor muscles in a really functional and involuntary way, which is how this system is designed to work. So great job. I hope this was a great start to your day.